Several months ago, you spoke about a veil, grid, or net going down. Can you speak more about this grid's purpose and the results of dropping this net? How was it, and how was it put into place?
God, I thought we already covered that, but I'll cover it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like but it's sort of
Um,
a bit more detail. Who put it there and what it was put there for and things.
the regressives put it there. It was put up there by the Orion group specifically. And basically what it did is it stopped, it created a field of energy, of a radio wave, for lack of a better word, where cosmic energy, cosmic knowledge would not penetrate the Earth's planet. We could send information out, garbage out, but nothing would come back in. Okay, that's what its purpose was.
Okay.
And understand, stars, when ET races communicate with each other across the universe or a galaxy, that information is sent using stars. Okay, stars transmit an enormous amount of information, knowledge, and frequency. Okay, there is some wisdom to sun worshippers. There really is. Okay, we made fun of them, but there was some knowledge to it. And if you go back to the ancient civilizations that held a pretty high level of consciousness, they were all star worshippers. Okay, a lot of data and information comes from stars. None of that was actually reaching us except for radiation. Okay, and they're a very sophisticated race. They knew exactly how to filter the knowledge, but allow all the other stuff to come in. Okay, that would not benefit us. So, the benevolence, what is happening, or what was happening, I should say, is that they would come in with their ships, whether it be motherships or not, knowing that they would not be attacked. What they would do is they would park them just inside the net, the field, okay, and they would burn holes in it. And they would know that as soon as that hole was built, it would take so many weeks for that net to refill. And what they did was they just burned it out. They burned that field out by putting ships inside of it and burning all these holes, and there was no way that it could eventually replenish itself. And then what they did was the satellites that were creating this field were just taken out, literally just pulled out of the atmosphere. So they no longer exist. They're just not up there. There's no more hardware up there to even work. They just took it all out. And now what you're seeing is this flood of information, of knowledge, of spiritual essence hitting the planet. And everybody's getting it, whether they're bricks or not. Okay, they're all getting this frequency. And people are starting to react to it. They're starting to absorb it, to ask questions that they wouldn't ask 10 years ago, to rethink the way that they see things now that was impossible 10 years ago. Okay, and we all know people like that. Well, this frequency, okay, and we are also getting bombarded with knowledge, spiritual knowledge that is very subtle, but that we are all getting on a soul level, okay, an energetic level. It's an amazing time, and it's all positive. We just have to get rid of some pockets of no-gooders that are still here, and that's happening. But it has to happen in such a way that you see, when you have regressive groups that are very, very negative, that are just empowered by negative field, the first thing they do is they put innocence between them and the light. It's the very first thing they do. And then what they do is they threaten the light with harming the innocence. Okay? So that if anything happens, it's on the head of the innocents. This is how they work it. Okay? By the innocent ones, which would be most of humanity. So, and I've said this many, many years ago, that we're being held hostage on our own planet, and no one has a clue. Okay, well, that's pretty much what's happening. But When humanity is evolving and changing its own field from negative to positive, which is what was happening, their grip on humanity is lessening and lessening to the point where they are now beginning to separate from humanity. Their field is causing them to separate away from humanity. And when it gets to a specific place, okay, they will not be able to touch us because our field will be so positive. And that's when the benevolence are going to come in and just, you're done. That's how it has to happen. And it's taking a while, okay? But when humanity reaches a certain point of frequency and the regressives no longer have any ability to harm us, they're going to come in and take it. They're going to take it and whack them. That's how this is going to work. This is how it's always worked.
So this is a bit like one of those old-fashioned flash guns that you hear this, and it builds up, and then there comes a point when you can take the photo. So when the Earth people's energy is high enough, they're not going to be supporting the regressives
because with negative field it can't exist here.
One last connection with this is: are these satellites the Black Knight satellites?
No.
No, that's something different. Okay.